You're 22 years old, fresh out of college, and you just accepted an analyst position at a Wall Street investment bank. The salary is $110,000. Your parents cried when you told them. Your friends think you've made it. You haven't made it. You haven't even started. Your first day, they hand you a laptop, 2 monitors, and a corporate card for dinner, not because they're generous, because you'll be here when the restaurants close. The managing director who hired you doesn't remember your name. He will not remember it for 6 months. You are not a person yet. You're a resource, interchangeable with the 40 other analysts who started today wearing identical Navy suits and carrying the same nervous energy. Week 1 is training. Excel shortcuts, financial modeling, PowerPoint formatting standards that border on obsessive. You learn that font size matters, that colors have meanings, that a slide with misaligned text boxes will get you screamed at by a vice president at 2 in the morning. This is not an exaggeration. This will happen to you in month 3. The work starts simple. You're building models, updating pitch books, formatting slides that senior bankers will present to clients you'll never meet. You're double-checking numbers that someone else already checked because in this world, 1 decimal point error on a valuation can cost the bank millions and cost you your job. You arrive at 8. You leave at midnight if you're lucky. 2 or 3 in the morning is standard. 5 isn't uncommon. Sometimes you don't leave at all. There's a shower on the 42nd floor. You'll use it. There are 2 couches in the analyst bullpen that smell like desperation and someone else's cologne. You'll sleep on them. The cafeteria serves breakfast at 6. You'll eat it standing up, checking your phone for emails that arrived while you were unconscious for 90 minutes. Your friends from college text you about happy hours and weekend plans. You stop responding, not because you're rude, because by the time you see the message, the event happened 3 days ago, and explaining why you missed it requires energy you don't have. Month 4, you're staffed on your first live deal, a merger between 2 pharmaceutical companies worth $8 billion. Your job is to build the merger model. This is 500 rows of Excel formulas that calculate accretion, dilution, synergies, and sensitivities. 1 associate reviews it. 1 vice president reviews it. 1 managing director reviews it. Each of them finds mistakes. Some are actual errors. Some are stylistic preferences. You cannot tell the difference, and neither can they. The deal closes at 11 on a Thursday night. You've been awake for 31 hours. The managing director takes the senior bankers out for steaks. The analysts order seamless to the office and eat pad thai in a conference room that smells like dry erase markers and broken dreams. Someone mentions the bonus. Someone else says not to count on it. Nobody knows what anyone makes. Discussing compensation is culturally forbidden but psychologically mandatory. Your review happens in month 11. You're rated a 3 on a scale of 1 to 5, where 3 is average but feels like failure because you're surrounded by people who were valedictorians and Rhodes Scholar finalists. The managing director tells you that you're doing fine, that you need to be more proactive, that you should speak up more in meetings but also know when to stay quiet. The feedback is contradictory and useless. You nod and say thank you. Bonus day arrives. You get $65,000. This is life-changing money. This is also 30% less than the analyst next to you who worked on bigger deals through no decision of his own, just random staffing assignments. Like, you're grateful and resentful in equal measure. You tell your parents it was generous. You tell your roommate it was disappointing. Both statements are true. Year 2 starts exactly like year 1, except now you're supposed to know better. The mistakes that were forgiven as learning experiences are now performance issues. You're mentoring the new analysts while still being screamed at by the same vice presidents. You're caught in the middle, too junior to have power, too senior to plead ignorance. But something shifts around month 15. You stop checking your phone every 30 seconds. You learn which partners are reasonable and which ones will email you at 4 in the morning about a comma placement. You develop a sense for when a deal will close and when it's performative nonsense that will die in diligence. You start recognizing patterns in how deals actually get done versus how they're supposed to get done. The official process involves pitch books and committee approvals and risk assessments. The real process involves 1 managing director texting another managing director during their kid's soccer game. You learn to read the room in ways that have nothing to do with finance. You can tell when a CEO is posturing versus when they're actually ready to sign. You know which lawyers will fight over every word and which ones just want to go home. This knowledge isn't in any training manual. It's accumulated through watching hundreds of hours of conference calls where nothing happens except people protecting their own liability. Your second-year bonus is $90,000. You're making more than your parents combined ever made. You're also averaging 4 hours of sleep and haven't been to a gym in 7 months. Your college girlfriend broke up with you because you missed her birthday for the 3rd time. You bought her an expensive gift after. She said that wasn't the point. You didn't understand then, you're starting to now. Associate promotion decisions happen in February. Your entire analyst class is anxious. Some people are obvious promotes. Some are obvious cuts. You're somewhere in the middle. Good enough to keep, but not good enough to be safe. The announcement comes on a Wednesday. You're promoted. Salary goes to $175,000. Bonus potential doubles. You also just signed up for 3 more years of this. Week 1 as an associate, everything changes and nothing changes. You're still building models, but now you're also managing analysts who resent taking orders from someone who was their peer 6 days ago. You're in client meetings now, but only to take notes and look busy. The vice presidents treat you like a promoted analyst. The analysts treat you like management. You belong to neither group. Your first major responsibility is running a pitch. The managing director gives you bullet points on Sunday night. The pitch is Wednesday morning. You have 60 hours to create 80 slides that tell a compelling story about why a consumer goods company should acquire its competitor. You delegate the formatting to analysts. You build the valuation frameworks yourself. You rehearse the presentation alone in a conference room at 2 in the morning, talking to empty chairs, perfecting transitions that the managing director will change completely during the taxi ride to the meeting. The pitch goes well. The client asks detailed questions. The managing director answers them smoothly while you frantically pull backup slides. You say maybe 15 words total. Afterward, the managing director tells you good job. This is the most positive feedback you've received in 2 years. You're flying. Month 18. As an associate, you're staffed on a deal that explodes. The target company's CEO gets indicted for securities fraud mid-process. Your deal team works 120 hours that week, managing crisis communications, revised valuations, and panicked board members. The deal dies on a Friday. 6 weeks of work evaporates. No bonus credit, no league table credit, nothing. You learn that most deals don't close. The ones that do are random. Effort and outcome have almost no correlation. You start interviewing for exit opportunities, private equity, hedge funds, corporate development roles. Everyone wants bankers with deal experience. Nobody wants to hire you specifically. You're too junior for the good jobs, too expensive for the mediocre ones. The golden handcuffs aren't made of gold. They're made of resume gaps and student loans and the fear of starting over. Year 3 arrives. You're exhausted in ways that sleep doesn't fix. You've gained 20 pounds or lost 20 pounds depending on whether stress makes you eat or stop eating. Your friends from college are getting married, buying apartments, having normal conversations about normal things. You talk about basis points and accretion and whether the printer on floor 47 is faster than the one on 43. But somewhere in the exhaustion, you've become undeniably competent. You can build a merger model in your sleep. You know debt markets, equity markets, how to structure earnouts, and how to negotiate reps and warranties. You've sat across from CEOs and CFOs and didn't embarrass yourself. That knowledge is currency. Whether it's worth what you paid for it, that's a question you're not ready to answer. Not yet. Maybe not ever. The vice president promotions are announced in your 3rd year. You're passed over. The feedback is vague. Need more client exposure. Need to demonstrate leadership. Need to be more strategic. The person promoted instead of you started the same month you did, worked the same hours, made the same mistakes. The only difference is he staffed on a deal that closed and generated $50 million in fees. You staffed on 3 deals that died. Luck matters more than anyone admits. You have a choice now. Stay and grind toward VP, which could take 2 more years or 4 depending on politics you can't control. Or leave for private equity. Take a lateral title but better hours and potentially more money long term. Or go corporate. Take a pay cut but get your life back. You choose private equity. The interviews are brutal. Case studies, modeling tests, fit discussions where you explain why you want to work even harder for potentially less recognition. You get an offer. $500,000 all in. The hours are supposedly better. You'll believe that when you see it. Your last day at the bank, nobody notices. The managing director who hired you shakes your hand and forgets your name one final time. The analysts you managed are already being managed by someone else. Your deals continue without you. The machine doesn't stop. You spent 3 years building skills that are valuable and relationships that aren't. You learned how corporate America actually works, which has nothing to do with merit and everything to do with who likes you and which deals randomly close. You're 25 years old. You've aged a decade. Whether that was worth it depends entirely on what you do with it next. Some people leverage this into wealth and power. Some people burn out and disappear. You won't know which category you're in for another 10 years. The analysts starting today look exactly like you did 3 years ago. Same suits, same energy, same naive belief that working harder than everyone else matters. You could warn them. You don't. They wouldn't listen anyway. Nobody ever does.